Hey, this is Jack from Alphacharts with a state of the market video. Today is June 22nd, 2024. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right. Thank you all for watching my video. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on X at Alphacharts365, posting things there all day, chart setups, ideas, mostly market related. I also, as you know, have a subscriber group. If you haven't done so yet, give it a check out. It's only $10 a month, and you get a ton of information. And even if you don't use all of it and you just cherry pick what you do want to use, which is kind of the way it's set up, right? I give you information in so many different ways, whether you like videos or market notes or just the annotated charts, short videos, longer format videos. It's really tailored to be used the way you want to use it. Very customizable as far as that goes, but you get it all for $10 a month. It's totally worth it. You're not gonna find a better value out there. Keeping you on the right side of the market and hopefully in the best names possible. Tons of accountability. We go over last week's picks always the following week and so on and so forth. So there's tons of accountability also in there. And a lot of people use it just for a second idea, just to confirm or get a second opinion on what they're seeing in the market. It gives one clear voice, I think, and then gives, sees, is it the same as what they're seeing, different? And that helps a lot of people as well. Again, the price is unbeatable for $10 a month. It's month to month. Click subscribe, super easy. Just go to Alpha Charts 365. All right, let's go to these charts. We're gonna start with the SPY as we always do. And so let's go to the weekly real fast. So you see on the weekly, we had this big kind of base area, and then we had the breakout. We'll call that a cup and handle S as the base. And then we put fibs on there, the best we could. And this 550-ish area seems to be important. Now, you can see when we've had these fibs on there the whole time. So if you've followed these videos, we've seen this spot come up, and now we're starting to see a pullback from this 550-ish area. And as far as I'm concerned, this is just a pullback, a run-of-the-mill pullback. I wanted to see something just for fun. If I put the 382, I'm sorry, not 382, the actually I can't do it. Never mind. The point is, sorry about that. Um, I think we're just right now we're just pulling back within the context of an uptrend. Maybe something similar to this. Well, it remains to be seen. Not quite as bad. Yes, that was a bearish outside day, but not a terribly bearish outside day. Not like that gave me a lot more pause. This gave me a lot more pause. This one, yeah, I think we're due for a pullback. But I think with a swing trader's mindset, which is what I have, I think this pullback is opportunities to get into names that you want to own. You do see a little increased volume there, but again, nothing I'm overly concerned about. RSP, and you can see the RSP is looking way different than the SPY, and that's fine. And we're starting to see a little better traction, and this 50 days is going to start to flatten out right now. Because when we go back 50 days, let's go back 50 days. 50 days is right here. So that's 50 days right there. So starting next week, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to be down here by Friday, right? And what's this 50-day moving average going to do? It's going to start to flatten and actually start to turn up by the end of the week. Just the way that this data will drop off, and new data, if it's up, especially if it's up in this area, will confirm. And that's really good. That's a positive result, right? If we can kind of stay in this general area, you're going to get a nice little turn on this 50-day over the next week or two. An RSP, and that would be a sign of improving breadth. And again, we're still in this consolidation pattern. But a breakout above here would be very, very bullish. And as we said, a break and a hold below here, which we really haven't had yet. That was right on the line, and that one didn't close below. That'd be the bearish scenario, right? So we're watching this, but again, constructive action there. Qs, no fibs here, but again, pull back. You see a slightly increase in volume, nothing overly done. I think this is pullback within the context of an uptrend. And looking at the equal weights, on the weekly chart, again, let's go to the weeklies, and we are seeing a beautiful base here. Beautiful base. And, and this is maybe even a true cup and handle. So if this breaks out, it's a very bullish sign, especially for NASDAQ and technology names in general. I mean, this has got to be one of the best looking charts out there. If this, if you put whatever name you want here, if it looks like this, we're buying the breakout all day long. Well, that's really positive, right? Going to the mid caps, I'll just stay in the weeklies for a little bit because I like the weekly charts. So we had a beautiful base right there, came back, retested. Now we're just kind of retesting again. As long as this area holds, and the area right now is this 525-ish area roughly. I think that's okay. Everything's fine, right? 525 holds. Maybe it's 527-ish. But yeah, this area holds. And again, and maybe a little bit deeper, it'd be 515. But just like the equal weighted cues, we are losing this data here. But if you notice, price is not above the 50-day. It's below the 50-day. So that is a difference in context. If price can get back above, we'll call it 538-ish or so, at least the 50-day can start to flatten out. Right, that's something. So we're watching that. Again, the levels are the 527. I like to see the mid cap participate. Doesn't have to lead, but I like to see him participate. And same thing with the Russell 2000. So again, just a big range here. Big range. Try to go once, try to go twice. Maybe this is some sort of inverse head and shoulders being formed here. You can see it more clearly on the daily chart. If this can make the turn here and get back up, I think that, price to get up to this at least 234 area. And that would be definitely the bullish scenario. But again, as this data comes off, we want to see price get back above, 202. Right? 202 is a big area, and getting back above it's a big deal. Staying above 198, that's a big deal. 198, 202 is the turbulence zone, right? It's the fight. But really would like to see this and then this kind of play out, come back around, nice base, and then move higher. That's what I'm looking for there. All right, let's look at the ETFs I like to watch. Again, if you look for the internals and stuff like that, I give that to members. So you would consider joining my educational group. And again, that's something that I do offer them is not only this assessment, but also I add the internals in there as well. Going to the financials, we have a bunched up moving averages and price just seems to be going back and forth in here. So it needs to make a decision. Really been in a range, since March, and really nothing has changed, right? Really since, this bar right here, mid-March or so, nothing has happened. Just vacillating within, a large range. That's it. SMH, obviously with NVIDIA, it's been very strong. Last couple of days, NVIDIA has been a little bit on the weaker side, obviously overdone a little bit. And so now it's just kind of, going through a little reset. But looking at the weekly, you got to kind of get the feeling, here's our cup and handle breakout back at the end of October, beginning of November. And it really has just been on a fabulous run with only 1 week here that would give you pause. But overall, this looks great. Now, the equal weighted semiconductors. Now, this is interesting because just like the equal weighted Qs, it hasn't quite broken out yet, but it's really close. Again, very bullish looking chart. Looks great going to the daily. It's trying to get above there. Hasn't been able to quite yet, but it doesn't look that bad. It's higher highs and higher lows for a while now. And so it's trying. I think that's going to be good for the market in general if that can break out. IYT. So one of the things that was giving us pause has been transports. Transports has been declining while we have a market that's going up. But now we're starting to see signs of maybe some stabilization where you have a completely flat 200-day. It's fine. and declining 50-day, okay, and the trend line, right? So now we have price that's trying to break the trend line. And if it can get back above the 50-day, which is declining pretty quickly, rapidly, so there's not that much of a distance now between the two, right? About 1.5% or so. Um, that would be a positive turn of events. And maybe this just chops sideways, but it'll stop going down. And that's the positive. That's the takeaway. This can stop going down, which it kind of did, you know, in May and maybe beginning of June, right? Um, that would be the positive. So again, we got the sideways chop, let it kind of chop, and then if it could turn back around, that would be really good. On the equal weighted front, again, not quite as nice looking, but it keeps holding this general area. We'll call it 74, 73, $74, 75, somewhere around there. And again, if it can turn the corner and make it go back up, right? Make a right-hand turn, um, that would be really, really positive. And I think that's what we're looking for to continue to happen and say underlying things are getting actually better, right? Home construction, home construction is interesting because that's my indicator, one of my indicators for jobs, right? And you're starting to see, again, it hammer away at this $100, $101 area. I mean, if it falls here, maybe it touches the 200-day, which isn't that far below. It's only about 3% below, 4% below. That's not a huge deal, not a deal breaker. If it breaks the 200 and gets below 96, that is a problem. But just something that we're watching. Again, concern in housing, and here's XHB, similar enough. Concern in housing, concern in transports, but it looks like they're trying to do effects, and that's the positive message, I think. So just to recap everything again, is we're out there at a place in the markets where we could see a pullback for another maybe a couple of days, but I think overall, especially when you look at the equal weighted products, things are looking overall constructive. And I think that we're still looking for things to buy versus things to sell. I think that's the message of the market. Obviously, make sure you manage risk and get good entries because that is the pillars of risk management, right? It's the good entry. All right. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't done so, like and subscribe to the channel. Click on subscribe on my subscription group. Again, is this going to trade for you? It's not. You still have to make your own decisions. But is this going to be a tool that you could use for a very reasonable price? Absolutely. All right. Y'all have a great day. Take care.